Okay. Cool. Hello. Hi. Hello. Y'all missed my incredible joke. It must have gotten caught in the captions, but suffice to say, I got so goddamn sick. Uh, so we had the holiday break. Lovely, lovely holiday break. This is much louder than I thought. Okay, great to know. Good to know. Turn that shit down. Quiet. Quiet. Shut the fuck up, Phoenix Wright. I'm talking about my woes. Shut the fuck up. Okay. So, we had the holiday break. Oh, you can still hear my wonderful, beautiful voice. We had the holiday break, and that was cool. And then, after the holiday break, immediately got sick for like a week and a half. Then, after I was no longer, like, feeling symptoms, I still had one major symptom, which is that I lost my voice completely. This time last week, I had to whisper every single thing I said. It was so
We have
bad.
ASMR.
It was real. It was a real ASMR moment.
Wow.
I did an entire tabletop game session whispering.
No.
Shout out to
No.
the players of that session who are such troopers.
Why?
Because I wanted to play. I was miserable. I hadn't done anything
That's
in
fair.
like weeks. Everything was terrible. But now my voice is mostly back.
Yeah.
So
Mostly
we can play the
back.
game. Now, there is one slight complication. I do not have the
Yes.
vocal range that I had some time ago. Which is
She doesn't have the range.
Some of these voices, they're either gonna be non-existent or they're gonna be fucking weird.
And I have been here for weird the whole time, so everyone else can buckle in.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like I can't do higher vocal ranges. I probably shouldn't show you what happens when I try and do higher vocal ranges.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I don't want to make everyone's ears bleed, and it's also probably not good for my recovering voice. But
I was mostly thinking the second reason.
yeah, no, I was mostly thinking the first. Wah, 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 recovering voice. Wah, 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 recovering. Loser shit. Okay, so, let's play the game. So, that night, the mailer. Okay, where are we? What's going on?
We just had a gender reveal party.
We just had a gender reveal party for Jean Grey Earl.
Jean Grey Earl.
From the X-Men, right? Jean from the X-Men?
Yes.
When's she having her Dark Phoenix moment?
That's the gender reveal.
Oh, that's the gender reveal, I see.
The gender is Phoenix.
The gender is Phoenix. Some sick-ass gender. Sounds like a
Yeah.
but in Dream Askew. That's one of those
It's
Dream
true,
Askew
yeah.
genders.
Oh, you got one of those Dream Askew genders?
Listen, we were playing we were looking through the games and I was having someone experience those for the first time and they were just like,
Oh, great.
these are incredible. I was like, it's really good. It was so good. Okay. So I fucking have no idea where we were.
It's been like a month.
It's been like a month. I'm dead. That night. Probably you're the mailer. What am I doing? You're the mailer.
Am I? I thought you were the mailer.
I'm pretty sure you're the mailer.
Okay. I don't remember the voice I gave this person. That night, probably about 1 a.m., I made a delivery to Sir Belduke. He was writing a letter at the time. It'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning. That's what he said. I left his study and wished for the butler a good night, then I went home. I went there again the next morning. As promised, Sir Belduke was... Well, anyway, I looked for the letter. Then that guy went out like a light on the couch. I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter. Okay, I'm remembering what happened. So, like...
Yes.
It was a locked door incident, basically.
Yeah, so the door was... So, yes. She went to see Sir Belduke last night. And he was like, oh, I have this letter. I'll come pick it up tomorrow. Then he died.
Then he died.
And then Jean and Loser Man.
Yep.
What's his name? He's a name.
I don't. Which one?
Wait, hang on. We can look at.
Who are you talking about?
People. The guy.
Story?
You know the guy. By the way, we're on One Life. Just as a reminder.
Which guy?
Profiles. This guy, Emir.
Oh, Amir.
Emir Punchenbog.
Oh yeah,
Amir, Amir
right.
was supposed to watch the crime scene, right?
Right, and fully
then
just didn't.
Abruptly fell asleep. So
Yeah.
the mailer comes in, picks up the letter, as mailers are wont to do. Then Jean comes back with the cops.
I think you're right, Ree. I think it is basically a mere punching bag is the joke.
I think you're right. Okay, let's press on each of these so that we
Sure.
can remember details and also find
We can remember.
find the gotcha so that we don't lose our last life.
Sounds
and have
good.
to
Restart. I mean, we did save, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty late to make a delivery. Look, he's an alchemist. He gets loads of strange packages. That's why. He'd often order various implements from the glass craftsman, or have someone gather wild herbs for him. He usually carried out his experiments at night, so yeah, he often needed items delivered in the middle of the night. Did Sir Belduke seem at all different than normal when you saw him that night? Different? Let me think. Actually, yes. Oh, I think it was about 3 days before Sir Belduke's death, I mean. That lightning strike.
Hang on.
Dun dun dun. Excuse me, Miss Grey Earl.
Oh, what is it?
Did anything in Miss Mailer's statement catch your attention?
Well, just the lightning strike. Master Belduke did certainly change following that event. I wonder why it affected him so much.
An alchemist and the sudden appearance of an old bell tower. Could there be some sort of a connection between them? Anyway, it looks like Grey Earl is as much in the dark about this as I am.
By the way, that strange lightning strike was not the result of witchcraft. I see. Well then, let us carry on.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Yeah, press.
You saw the letter he was writing? I told you before, there were sheets of parchment with writing on them on his desk. I had a very quick look. There were so many sheets, the letter must have been very long.
Then how can you explain the letter being blank now?
Sir, that's just it. That's what I'd like to know as well. I wish I had some earplugs. Sir Belduke, he was holding a pen when I arrived with the delivery, so he was in the middle of writing. And also, he told me to pick up the letter the next morning.
And then you left his study.
I think there was actually a typo that I fixed
What was it?
without meaning to. I think it was the letter next morning
Oh, interesting.
was how it was written. Am I wrong? I don't know if anyone else
remember.
caught that. Well, wait a minute.
Oh, wrong click. And by click, I
Oh,
mean touch.
everyone wait a minute. I need to look at my book. When you say the butler, you mean... Miss Grey Earl, of course. She was in the corridor carrying a tray.
Hang on.
Hang on. Miss Grey Earl, I'd like to ask you something.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Certainly. What is it?
You stated previously that you excused yourself and left Sir Belduke's study shortly after 1 a.m.
Yes, that is correct.
However, according to Miss Mailer's testimony, the two of you came across each other while you were waiting outside that room. Why didn't you mention that until now?
That's because... I apologize. I'm afraid I completely forgot to mention it. You forgot? Miss Mailer very often comes with deliveries during the night. I did see her that night as well, but I didn't think much of it as it's nothing unusual. I had no reason to hide that from you. Please forgive me for the confusion. Oh, well, that kind of thing can happen. Human memory is in no way perfect. I don't imagine there's a problem here, is there?
Wow, you're so impartial, Judge. On the contrary, Your Honor. There's one more thing Miss Grey Earl forgot to mention.
What is it?
I'd like you to recall what Miss Mailer said about having met Miss Grey Earl that night. Miss Grey Earl, of course, she was in the corridor carrying a tray. Well, Miss Grey Earl, apparently you were carrying a tray at the time. What do you have to say about that?
Jean Breyer, I believe you should add that to your testimony. As you wish, my lord.
It's unlikely she really forgot about it. The fact she tried to hide it must mean something.
Miss Mailer left just as I was bringing Master his usual drink.
I went there again the next morning as promised. Sir Belduke was...
Oh, I see. This is just, we're adding this, so I can press on this.
Yeah, you should press on that one. What do you mean by usual drink?
When Master's experiments continued into late hours, he would always have some juice to ward off sleepiness. Juice?
Juice. What kind of juice?
Tomato juice.
Ew, that's so much worse than alcohol.
Hang on!
Excuse me, Mr. Mister.
Whoa! I know nothing about it. Nothing at all. Witness, what have you done this time?
How is he involved in everything?
Don't give me that scary look and wizard about him. I was only just a little bit. Seriously, hardly anything at all.
What are you talking about?
Oh, what do you think I'm talking about? The juice. The tomato juice, of course. The tomato juice. Oh, you didn't. Surely even you wouldn't. Well, like I told you before, I think I sort of overdid it a bit the previous night. When I woke up, Mia was pounding, that's why I went to see the alchemist. But you know what happened? And when I was left alone in the alchemist's study, it kind of caught my eye. The bottle, I mean. The tomato juice. I thought it might make the headache go away, you know? So you drank it? The juice found at the crime scene? Well,
The
why
crime
shouldn't
scene
I?
juice.
It's a drink, ain't it? What else you do with the drink? You drink it, right?
He's so valid.
I wanted to be like, and he wasn't gonna drink it. And can you tell us where that bottle is now?
Come to think of it, I don't remember seeing it at the crime scene.
It has been confiscated.
Confiscated.
As I mentioned previously, thank you for the reminder, Gene. The occult crime analysts confiscated all of Master's personal belongings from the crime scene. Is that so? Well, I believe we should take note of that bottle and add it to the court record.
Tomato juice bottle.
Added to the court record. Yeah, so they're all boys having a bit of juice, and that girl came round. No!
Sir!
To tell you the truth, I don't quite remember what happened after that.
That's when he passed out, huh?
It's so funny.
Went there again in the morning as promised. Sir Belduke was, well, anyway, I looked for the letter.
Hold it!
I thank you that I'm glad you like the grayer voice I've been doing while sick.
It is pretty good. You took the letter from the crime scene? That's right. I took it from the crime scene.
Objection!
Do you not realize that pinching evidence from a crime scene is itself a crime worthy of severe punishment?
Sir! Well, it might be a crime, sir. Sure. But just look at the witch's defender. Damn! He's got to defend a witch, using any dirty tricks at his disposal. Dirty tricks? What dirty tricks? It's the same for me, you know? I'm a courier, so come rain or shine, I've got to deliver. Where there's mail, there's mailer.
I was so inspired by the young lady's spirit that I kinda just had to help.
Although inspired by her dedication, he betrayed a lack of concentration. I don't know
Right.
why I'm second guessing
I'm
myself.
remembering that Birdley is now Amir's personal bard.
Yes, this is true.
It is entirely my fault that it came to that. Had I only been at the residence then. Larg.
Grayrol was out notifying the knights at the time. Then the guy went out like a light on the couch. I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I ran the letter. Sorry.
Oh, are you Mickey Mouse
He-
now?
Yeah, I'm Mickey Mouse. He went out like a light. I'm not gonna do Mickey Mouse. He was helping me look for the letter, and then it happened out of the blue. He just passed out, the rascal. He collapsed, and his eyes rolled back. He couldn't move. Wouldn't move. He wouldn't move. It almost sounds like he died. No such luck, unfortunately. That horrible sound. He was grating his teeth. I thought my ears would explode.
Yep, not quite sure what came over me. Never happened to me before, sleeping like that. You know, I didn't just fall asleep. More like I sort of blacked out, I guess.
Ah.
No idea why. Oh, you guys, what do you think? Any ideas?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think it bears no relevance. And there you have my honest answer. And I think it's good that I wasn't there.
What an interesting response. But the question is, why did he black out like that? I've got evidence.
Sure do.
Your Honor, I might have a clue as to why this witness suddenly lost consciousness.
You do? Really? Do you work it out, Bluey and Bingo? If that's the case, may the defense present some evidence. Which piece of evidence shows why this man fell unconscious? Tomato juice bottle, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the like I have to assume it's the juice bottle.
Take that!
Yes, nice. Mister, I believe the reason you might have lost consciousness at the crime scene is tied to a certain piece of evidence.
But wasn't it just because, you know, I had a bit too much fun the night before?
No, it was because of this.
The tomato juice.
You passed out right after drinking this juice. Therefore, it's not unreasonable to assume that there's a direct connection between the two.
Tomato juice does not make people fall unconscious, Sir Blue Knight.
Barnum, do I have to hold your hand through everything? Exactly. That's why something must have been added to the contents of that bottle. Something like a soporific. That's not a word I say a lot.
You mean sleep medicine?
And if the soporific was mixed in with the tomato juice, I don't know why I'm making British, tomato juice, that means Sir Belduke would have been unconscious at the time he was assailed.
Oh! This sketch, have another look. The red liquid trickling down from the victim's mouth is proof that Sir Belduke must have drank the tomato juice. I had failed to consider this.
Inquisitor Barnham, I bet you remember saying this to the court. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly, there should be evidence of a struggle. And since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. However, if the victim was unconscious when his assailant was strangling him, also struggling, like me, then the killer could have committed the crime through a small portal big enough to put their arms through after all.
Right, that's where we're
After
at.
all. Yes, I do remember the portal. It's weird.
That may be so, but tell me this. How would the culprit have managed to obtain such a strong soporific? He's a fucking alchemist. Urgh!
It was very simple, and I think you've realized why.
From the alchemist.
That's right. An alchemist would no doubt have a wide array of various medicaments in their possession. Medicaments?
Is it
medicaments, right?
Medicaments?
Medicaments. Oh, that sounds worse. Medicaments in their possession. I don't know. A lot of
Dissonance.
words I've never said out loud. And an apprentice would have little trouble stealing some of them from their study. Isn't that right, Miss Grey Earl?
How should I respond to that? I'm sorry to disappoint you, may perhaps be the best way to put it. What do you mean? Even though that juice bottle has been safely stored for the past 3 months, I'm positive it would be impossible to find any traces of that soporific now. You wicked!
This is unbelievable.
You do the next one too.
Sure. Was it really the butler who did it?
But everything she says holds true.
She was pretending to be a boy. That's mighty suspicious to start with. Fuck.
Is she a witch?
Hold on, everyone. The butler couldn't have done that to Sir Belduke. She would never, ever do it. Please, let us testify just one more time. Miss Greyo, let's tell them. Let's prove they're wrong. They have no idea how much you've done for Sir Belduke.
Miss Mela.
Are they having a tryst?
I'm kind of wondering. Very well, I shall grant your request. Testify about the relationship between Miss Grey Earl and Sir Belduke. Master took me in, a complete stranger. I will forever be indebted to him. That's why I could never make an attempt on his life, through magic or otherwise.
Sir Belduke was a wonderful man. He's the one who recommended this line of work to me. And he's the one who told me about it. The confidentiality obligation, I mean. I've never once broken it, except right now.
Mhm. It's true that Sir Belduke evoked fear due to him being an alchemist. However, he was also a man of admirable character who supported the townsfolk through his research. Why would anyone want to kill such a man? This question keeps haunting me, however much I think about it. Witches need no reason behind their evil. That is what makes them witches. Now the defense may begin its interrogation.
If it is lesbian murderers, which would be great, we should never solve this case, and also it makes sense why Grey Earl would hide, because I assume the society is homophobic.
So true. So true. You're so right. I mean, lesbians have been known to dress up as men throughout
Yep.
history, you know?
Yep. Recorded evidence.
Mhm.
Hold
Well,
it.
we're pressing on all of these anyway.
Yeah. How long has it been since you began serving Sir Belduke?
I suppose it would be 5 years now. Before that, I'd lost everything. I had nothing and nobody left in this world.
You lost everything?
That's when Master Belduke helped me. He kindly took me in and gave me work.
What did she go through before she started working for Belduke?
Later, when I was helping Master with his research, he even taught me how to read and write. I was able to live comfortably for so long, all because of Master.
I don't know much about Grey Earl. But she doesn't seem the type to kill someone she owes so much to.
Everyone in this town knows how you serve Sir Belduke. Now you may continue your testimony.
Hold it.
You're claiming you had no reason to kill Sir Belduke?
Yes, you can ask whomever you wish, and I'm sure they will say the same. That is so. It is widely known that Jean Greyhill was devoted to serving Sir Belduke. It's difficult to imagine she could brutally murder her respected master. Indeed, I am of the same opinion. I also love getting the hot goss around town. I have visited Sir Belduke on several occasions to inquire about this piece of evidence or that, and to get a boner medication, which I so desperately need. And I must say, I felt there was a strong bond of trust between him and Miss Greyhill.
TMI.
Do you still think you can come up with a motive?
A motive? Wait, we need one of those?
Jean Greyhill's motive for murder. It's witch court. Who the fuck knows what you need?
Yeah, I feel like they forgot that they only just learned about logic like a day ago.
Yeah.
Grey Earl risked a lot to conjure up a small portal in the wall. And then she believed Belduke, but what motive
Killed.
did she have?
You said believed.
What? Oh, sorry. What was it?
Killed?
Oh. I don't know why my dyslexia is like really acting up right now.
It's okay. I was just fascinated by that one.
Look, I could not tell you how my brain works. I just
Can
read what
anyone
my
tell
brain
anyone how their
interprets.
brain works?
That's so true. And then she killed Belduke, but what motive did she have? Ooh, what?
Give me that hint.
Are the first two... What? What?
I'm gonna go with suggest another motive.
What? How is that different than she had a motive? Sorry, I'm thoroughly confused by she had a motive and suggest another motive. To me, those are the same thing, so I think I'm just missing something.
Yeah, there's the same thing to me too, but now I want to click suggest another motive.
Save.
Yeah, so true. Great point, Claire. Wow, it just saved. That's amazing what you can do on
Amazing.
these days.
All right. I love the new 3DSS. I understand. The defense will present evidence. I sure hope you have evidence.
Evidence to indicate Jean Grey's motive for murder.
No.
Wait, what? What's this about, Sir Blue Knight?
Sir Belduke's life was taken that day. That's a fact. However, was this actually the culprit's true objective?
Objection.
What? This is nonsense. Sir Belduke was murdered. What other possible reason could there be besides someone wanting him dead?
I'm fairly positive this piece of evidence will lead us to the culprit's real motive.
I'm so glad you're confident, Phoenix, because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Very well, defense present evidence to indicate Jean Grey's motive for committing the crime. Oh, it's still letting our coin.
Okay. So, one of four things. So, I mean, I guess the letter, right?
This is what I'm sort of thinking.
Yeah, what else is the motive, right?
I think it's probably the letter, right?
I think it's the letter. Yeah. We will restart if it's not the letter.
Yeah, I think so.
Or like go from the save, which was like a second ago. Okay, cool. Miss Grayrel had no reason for wanting to kill Sir Belduke. However, there was another incident that night which is related to this case. And I have an idea what it was.
Another incident?
I'm referring to this letter. Sir Belduke wrote a letter shortly before his death, yet all we have here are some blank sheets of parchment.
Fascinating. Are you saying maybe a witch used some kind of ink-removing magic on that letter, Mr. Wright?
No, the spell used by the witch was, of course, Godor. Let's go over the state of the crime scene one more time, just in case anyone here hasn't played for a month. As we know from Miss Mailer's testimony, the letter was in a letterbox next to the victim's head. Oh, that's
no, please be. Ah, yes, it's in the sketch as well. The letterbox is on the far side of the shelf.
The point of note is the location of that letterbox.
Unbelievable.
As Inquisitor Barnum seemed to have noticed, the letterbox is within reach of the small portal conjured by the witch behind the painting on the wall.
Oh, indeed it is.
And as Sir Belduke's butler, you would have known exactly where he keeps his letters.
Indeed, Master Belduke would always keep his letters in that letterbox before posting them. You mentioned no such thing. Oh, the
I
judge
don't get this
loves
reference, Ree.
cowgirls, for sure.
Miss Grayrel, you created a portal with Godor. Not with the intention of killing Sir Belduke. You were after this letter, weren't you?
That's merely wild conjecture. I didn't even know about that letter at the time.
You didn't? Now that's very strange. When Miss Mailer came by that night, Sir Belduke was busy writing that letter. And that's when you entered, carrying a bottle of tomato juice. I almost did it again. There's no way you wouldn't have known that your master was writing a letter to someone. And you could have known even more than that. For instance, perhaps you knew what he was writing about.
That's enough. I served Master Belduke as his butler. I never would have pried into his private affairs. Whatever it was he wrote about in his final letter to the storyteller, it is no concern of mine.
Your Honor,
Yes, defense.
I'd like Miss Grayrell's last statement to be added to her testimony.
Humph. Any objections, Inquisitor Barnum? No, my lord. Very well. Witness, include what you just told us in your testimony. As you wish, my lord. And so, Jean Grayle presses the button, add to testimony.
Hold it!
Let me get this straight. You didn't know anything about the victim's letter?
That's right. I believe I've said as much already.
Then, how did you know? How did you know that it was addressed to the storyteller?
Ah, indeed. Why don't you answer his question, witness?
It's true this letter is addressed to the storyteller. But when did you find out about it?
I've spoken about the murder with many people over the past 3 months.
Hang on!
Excuse me, Miss Miller. Oh, sir! I thought I caught her off guard, but it's her screech that's caught me off guard.
The tinnitus sound effect every time she says sir is really funny.
Is there perhaps anything you'd like to add to Miss Grayrell's testimony? No, not really. In that case, let me ask you a different question. Did you tell Miss Grayrell about Sir Belduke's letter? I don't know.
Do not beat around the bush, witness. Answer the question. If I may briefly interrupt, I am testifying right now. If you wish to question Miss Mailer, please do so once you've finished interrogating me.
She's not going to let me question Miss Mailer from the looks of it. And if she's so keen to prevent her from answering, this might just be a critical point in the testimony. I've got to find another way of fishing for that information.
Witnesses continue testifying. How
Interesting.
can she just be stopped, you know? I'm gonna keep pressing her. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Hold it!
You mean you became a courier because of Sir Belduke? That's right. I was also what do you call it? An orphan. I'd been stealing bread or apples and such from stalls and shops to survive. I was known far and wide among the traders in the shopping area. I was famous, or rather, infamous. Was she stealing from Miss Clair too? And one day, Miss Grayrell took me there, to Sir Belduke's residence, I mean. Sir Belduke helped me. He helped me to find a suitable job. And so you became a courier. Yes, see, I only had one real skill. I'm light-footed. At first, I didn't take it seriously. The job, I mean. I didn't care about work. But then I realized it. That it's not so bad to be useful, you know, to other people. So, I owe him a lot too, you see, Sir Belduke, I mean.
Humph. What a heartwarming story.
I think the judge just wiped away a tear with the rim of his hood.
The more you hear about Sir Belduke, the more obvious it will become that no one had any reason to want to kill him.
It sure does seem that way.
Aha.
Hold it!
Here's how
Ah. The confidentiality obligation is a rule held among couriers, is it not? Is that right? Yes, a courier must not disclose the contents of a letter, nor the names nor the addresses of its sender and recipient. But I'll tell you confidentially that I love gossiping, bad-mouthing people especially. So I wasn't confident I could keep it. The confidentiality obligation, I mean. I was tempted to talk about this and that. To think that Belduke trusted her. But then Sir Belduke spoke to me. He told me this. Think about how you'd feel in that person's place. And that got me thinking. I really, really like to gossip. But then it comes to being gossiped. But when it comes to being gossiped about, people's messages are their secrets, and secrets must be kept.
Indeed, no one would want their letters to be publicly known. I put very
Which is why I posted everything online. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, we were both making different jokes.
Great.
Mine was he puts pervert shit in his letters, and yours was about online.
Great. She's certainly determined when it comes to confidentiality. That's why she doesn't want to disclose the addressee of Belduke's letter. I'm not gonna get it out of her. I promised Sir Belduke, and I'm gonna keep it, no matter what. The promise, I mean. It's something I can pride myself on, right? Grey Earl may not have had a motive to murder Belduke, but what if she used the portal spell to obtain that letter? Depending on the contents of the letter, that might prove to have been her motive.
So true. She would have loved Post Secret.
I wonder what Sir Belduke wrote about in that letter. There's only one way to find out. I need to get Grey Earl to admit that she got hold of that letter. I'm worried, Mr. Wright, of what's lying ahead. The feeling's mutual. But I have to see it through. I've got to pursue the truth.
Okay, we've seen this one.
She was born in the wrong era. She would have loved Post-Secret. Is that a thing?
It was a thing back in the day, I believe, where you'd like post other people's secrets without like saying who it was or whatever. It was a weird era of the internet. Okay.
Alright, what are we doing?
Should we...
I think we
press
might have to
on-
present on something.
Good question.
Yeah, let's use a coin.
Okay,
Alright, never mind.
this is what I was thinking. Just press on this.
Hold it!
And then we stick with Grey Earl this time.
Let me get this straight. You didn't know anything about the victim's letter?
That's right. I believe I've said as much already.
Then how did you know? How did you know it was addressed to the storyteller?
Yeah, we've seen this before.
Right. And then why did you answer the question?
Hey, Fan!
It's true.
Welcome.
Hey, Fan. Spoken about the murder of many people. Right, and this is the one.
Everyone has been very kind to me. They've also told me all sorts of things. I must have heard about it from someone at some point. Well, that incident was certainly much talked about. Would you not agree, defense?
Does her testimony hold together?
There's a contradiction.
Wow, I wonder. There's a huge contradiction in Miss Grey Earl's testimony.
We're now on, like, chain of custody
Lesbian
of
murder.
a letter, basically.
Oh, that too.
You're becoming very predictable, Sir Blue Knight. There's a contradiction. I hope you have the evidence to prove it.
Here's my chance. There's only one way to expose this contradiction. Wow, it's really... You really get to milk this coin.
They're really nice to me right now.
The defense has no intention of presenting evidence.
What?
The proof that there is a contradiction cannot be found in the court record.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
The professor pointed it out to me in the previous witch trial. In this court, an attorney's arsenal isn't limited to the court record.
Each of the witnesses in this trial has given their own account of what occurred. Therefore, whenever one witness has testified, the other remaining witnesses have listened. Should one witness's testimony differ from another's testimony, then I suppose that in itself can also be considered a contradiction, can it not?
Just reposted. Has anyone seen that one Tumblr post that's like, Ace Attorney is so funny for making a game where he plays a lawyer whose assistant lets him talk to dead people, and the only dead person he talks to is a smarter, better lawyer?
I have no
I've
idea
not.
what any of this shit fucking at all. What the fuck do you mean he talks to a dead lawyer? What is going on in the main fucking series of Ace
Right.
Attorney?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes, that is true. Yeah. Juxtaposing contradictory testimonies from different witnesses in the key.
This game is very different. Now he just talks to the memory of his friend who's a professor who's a better lawyer than he is, despite not being a fucking lawyer.
Yeah. Miss Gray Earl, your testimony contradicts another one that we've heard in this court today. Oh. Okay.
Confidentiality obligation, right?
I had no reason to take his life nor steal his letter to the storyteller. What does that contradict? He's the one who told me about it. I mean, I've never once broken it. Why would that contradict?
Does this
Let's see.
contradict?
Master took me in, a complete stranger. I will forever be indebted to him.
It's not this one, I don't think.
Nope, it's not the first one. Sir Belduke, he's the one who told me about it, the confidentiality. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, I was reading two different ones. What's the middle one?
Middle one is Sir Bradley was a wonderful man. He's the one who recommended this line of work to me.
I had no reason to take his... Yeah, I don't really see why it would be the first two. Save.
Yeah, okay.
Just in case.
That's-
What did you think of Realis, Fen? I saw you in the chat. Yeah, let's go with the third one.
You think?
I mean, we just saved, right? So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, yeah, yeah, okay. Ooh, oh.
Oh my god, that's so fucking good. That is hilarious. That is an incredibly good
That's
bit.
so fucking stupid. I didn't read the line. It was a single word that you gave away, Miss Gray Earl. Oh my god.
What do you mean by that?
The name of the recipient. There were only a few people who knew the intended recipient of that letter. 4 people, to be precise.
Only 4 people?
First was Sir Belduke, the author of the letter. Then there was Miss Mailer, who delivered it. And of course the storyteller, its recipient, as well as one more person. The one who stole the letter using a portal spell and swapped it with the blank sheets of parchment. The witch. Sir? Maybe I did. Maybe I spilled the beans about the letter, I mean. Maybe I told the butler.
You did what?
Well, because, you see, me and the butler are sort of friends. You know, really, really good like roommates. It was about our dear Sir Belduke. I feel like I might have told her about it after all. See? If I did, that's how she knew. About the recipient, I mean.
Objection!
I understand that you are friends with Miss Grey Earl and you want to help her out. Reasonably so. But knowing how the result of this will go. But I've got a piece of advice, Miss Mailer. You shouldn't lie, even for a friend. Even if it's going to get your friend murdered.
Mm-hmm.
What'd she say? Huh? Remember your testimony? You told us about the courier's duty to keep the the details of letters confidential. And you have also testified that you have never broken that obligation, remember? Ah,
Objection.
sir!
But hold on just a minute. This victim's butler, Jean Greer, might have had a chance to catch a glimpse of the envelope.
Objection.
No, she didn't. When Miss Mailer came with the delivery, Sir Belduke was still writing that letter. In fact, he was in the middle of it. At that time, the letter had not been addressed yet. And the next morning, when the body was discovered, that letter was already in the letterbox. Keep in mind that Miss Greer would have had no opportunity to see it then either.
Is that so? She went to report the crime without even setting foot in the study.
And then Miss Mailer appeared and retrieved the letter. Needless to say, Miss Greer couldn't have learned of the letter's recipient afterwards. Or maybe you have a good explanation, Miss Greer? I'd very much like to hear one. Can you please tell the court how you found out the recipient's name?
Mr. Wright,
Yes?
do you remember what I said when I was called to the witness stand?
Yes?
At the heart of alchemy lies the pursuit of the rules and logic that govern nature. You've demonstrated the power of your own logic.
Miss Greer?
Are you saying? Yes, I confess. The abhorrent witch who used the spell Gador to swap the contents of that letter, and who took the life of Master Belduke. It was none other than I.
I think she's lying.
You think?
No,
was an
no, never
only
mind. We're getting
child,
backstory.
Born to a poor family. I've been a witch since I was very little. When did I become aware of it? I don't remember. Although I was but a young child, I knew that being a witch was a crime. That's why I hid my witch's scepter and wouldn't use magic at all. My father worked as a bricklayer. He toiled every day, but we could hardly make ends meet. One winter day, we couldn't afford to pay the rent. We were going to lose the house. My mother was in tears, and my father was sitting with his head down, wordless.
I want money for Mummy and Daddy.
That day, I suddenly remembered about the witch's scepter that I had hidden. The Goldor spell. I thought I'd try it just once, casting the spell. But at the time, I had no idea what an irreversible mistake that would be. Even though no one told me, I knew from the very beginning what magic I was able to use. Yeah, when does the child get a scepter? I don't know.
Yeah.
What should I turn into gold? I was thinking about it really hard. The little girl that I was. Something that wouldn't stand out that could be taken for a work of art. Then I decided. I chose a pretty leaf that had fallen into our garden.
Okay.
But it wasn't the right thing to do after all. I was terribly punished for using magic even just the once.
What?
Punished?
Why? In what way were you punished?
I placed the leaf down in the back garden and cast a spell, but then Margaret suddenly walked in front of me. Margaret?
Oh.
My closest childhood friend. Margaret, right before my eyes, she was turned into gold. Oh dear me. I screamed and cried, but I knew I couldn't ask anyone for help. If anyone had seen, they would have known it was the work of magic. And I knew Margaret wasn't coming back.
That's terrible.
Then my mother and father's faces flashed before my eyes. We may have been very poor, but we were always happy together. Had I been captured as a witch, I feared my parents probably wouldn't be safe either. That thought tormented me more than anything, and so I made the decision. I decided to end my own life. I threw myself into the river near the town. It was winter and the water was as cold as ice. I couldn't even move, it was painful. My consciousness started drifting away. Jesus. This is dark.
Yeah.
The next thing I knew, I was in Master Beldu's residence. He risked his own life jumping into the freezing river to save me. I burst into tears and told him everything. I didn't want to go back home. I would only end up causing my parents grief. Master Beldu listened to me without interrupting, and then he told me this.
You can stay here, but from now on, you must live as a boy.
Master Beldu met with my parents and explained everything to them. They were very sad, but they agreed it would be best if I didn't return home.
I think we might need to like interrupt this. I was hoping not, but I think we need to take a break.
Okay, we're gonna take a break.
Yeah,
We'll be back.
we'll
to
take a break.
get
Be right back.